Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. This is Muhammad Shirazi from Islamic Oasis. As many of you know, in the last 24 hours, we are getting a lot of news of the situation happening inside Sri Lanka. And I thought, because of the destruction that has taken place just in the last 24 hours, I thought that we should get somebody who was very active in Sri Lanka and is active in the Sri Lankan community here in Chicagoland area, and whose family is still there in Sri Lanka while this is happening. And I thought this would be a best way to kind of interview the brother who understands what's going on in the situation. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Muhammad. How are you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, Sheikh, what's going on? I mean, all of a sudden we're hearing that the massages are being looted, destroyed, and businesses are being looted. So, can you give us a background of what's happened in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, it was a debate amongst the Muslim people. It will be another Myanmar. So, in the recent history of the incidents taken place.
Another Myanmar?
Yeah, another Myanmar. And now it confirms the people of Sri Lankan Muslims are unsecured, and the government failed to give the protection, and by the incidents we can come up. This is a very critical situation in Sri Lanka.
So this is not the first time?
This is not the first time.
So how many times has this taken place? How many?
So there are continuous incidents take over the last year, even from the last government, like 2015. And nearly, so last year, more than 25 masjid was some half burnt, some are damaged. So by this incident, nearly 10-15 masjids last 2-3 days are destroyed.
So 10 to 15 masajid destroyed in the last 24 hours?
Last 24 hours.
Last 24 hours. And then businesses have been said that even the businesses are being looted.
Yes, nearly up to 100, including the business places and houses, are destroyed.
100?
Yeah, 100.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 shuhadas. So far, two
people were killed, 2
shahadas.
So this is happening where exactly in Sri Lanka?
This is in the central part of Sri Lanka, a village called Digana. And it started from Digana, but it is erupted all over the Sri Lanka. And now it's on Madavala, Taldenia, Katagosota, and all around the central province. Even we can see the same fact on the Kalmunai and
so
the
this
western province.
Is this the major, is this the majority Muslim areas? What is the basically the ethnicities? What does it look like in these areas right now?
Yes, Sri Lanka ethnicity is around like 10% of the total population. But this is an isolated place that where the signal is surrounded, can easily attack a place, a village. But central province is largely majority like Muslims. But this time, with the elections and everything, the Muslims are the
so they are the so they're being used as an excuse because of the elections.
Yes.
Something that seems to be happening everywhere. Every time there's a political situation,
yes,
the Muslims are being used as the scapegoat.
Yes.
And it happened here also.
Yeah.
And so now it's in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
What connections do you see? I worked a lot in the Rohingya situation with the refugees and Rohingya refugees. I've worked a lot between, in Bangladesh itself and the camps. What similarities do you see? What are the major similarities that you see happening in Sri Lanka now and what has happened in Myanmar?
Exactly, the fact is this is a fight between Haq and Batil, because the attackers, the unbelievers, they come and attack Muslims, called as Muslims. Though the ambition to loot or just take the properties, but the absolute understanding about we understand the similarities are similar, because Muslims, they can't believe in the government, or they can't believe on the ulamas, those who...
So you're saying they don't feel secure from the government? The government is not protecting them in any way?
Yes.
and you don't feel that the Muslim authorities can do anything in the area.
Yeah.
So what will happen? Yani what is the future?
Now the situation is everything is up to the Muslims to decide. Like they have to protect their own. Even they can't believe the security force. They came and they opened the doors to make problems. Like they open the doors for the mobs and they come and attack the STF.
So even the mobs are kind of like given green light.
Green light.
Go
Yes.
into this area. Go into this area.
This area.
So now, so you said about 100 masajid in the last 24 hours. Businesses,
it's nearly,
masajid.
yes, nearly 15 masajid.
15 masajid. No, with businesses, about 100 businesses,
Yes,
and then
yes.
homes
Yeah.
destroyed. Your family is there.
Yes.
So can you give us an update? What's going on with your family?
So my village is village nearby the incident which taken place, the Digana, and the next village is Madala and Mattegama. Unfortunately, the mobs they came like by 11 p.m. and they attacked the masajid and the nearby houses and the shops closer to the masjid.
Who are the mobs? I mean, when you say the mobs, what do the mobs consist of? Who are these people?
Especially there are a good understanding between normal village Sinhalese and Muslims. They have a kind of closeness, but every time there are people like who seek the benefit from the politics. These are the people, those who make the fight, like in between.
So they're coming from outside. They are within. What's going on?
So this is a clearly planned execution by the politics, like political people, and even the murder. So the case which erupted from the incident. So now the people started to talk about the fact that he is killed, and it's not like incident which happened, which shows talking in the medias.
I mean, we barely see anything in the media
Yeah.
about what's happening in Sri Lanka so far. We haven't seen anything. But now the question also, okay, so I mean, we were talking about your own family. So what's your family doing to protect themselves? I mean, what's going on?
Yes, we have only one solution. Like we have to go to a concentrated Muslim area. So at least to safeguard to a level. Or we have another minority called Tamil people. Like so some people they rely upon the Tamil crowd, and some people they rely upon organize the community as much as they can protect from the damages.
So basically, they have to move from the areas and go to these areas because they know they are at least safer.
Yes.
But so the Tamils there, they're not Muslims,
No.
but they're giving them protection.
Some
Or
of
they're
the
saying
Tamils like
coming to
that.
okay.
Yes.
So now, as we said, this is not the first time. It's not the second time, and every time it seems like there's anything that will happen as far as any political situation, this will continue to happen. But what does the future look like? I mean, what will happen to? What is the percentage of the Muslims in the area?
So as considered to the Sri Lanka, we have a population of like 10%. But majorly the people of Muslims are in town. They are the people those who do business.
Okay.
So even in the eastern province or any towns, if you go, majority Muslims, because they are the people those who does business. Like because of this reason, the Sinhalese focus on the wealth of the Muslims always. So these guys,
this is where the businesses are.
business are.
So what do the majority of the Muslims in Sri Lanka do? What are their backgrounds? I mean, are they mostly businessmen? They are doctors, engineers,
Yes.
teachers. What do they do?
Yeah, Muslims majorly in eastern side they are farmers, and they contribute through the farming, and the north part they contribute through the fishing, and the central part they contribute with the governments. Government employs well-educated people, and the Colombo majorly in the two towns like Colombo and Kandy. Those are business places, and majorly the Muslims they occupy these cities.
So now, whatever is happening now,
Yes.
what will stop the situation now? Is there any And is there like a deal supposed to be made? Anything that could happen that could stop the situation now?
Yes, so there are underlining principles which run escalation for this problem. The politicians, they analyze this is effect by there is influence by the Chinese government to make a contract on port authorities like in the Colombo harbor. So about to give the harbor, the port land for certain kilometers, like 200 kilometers. And number two, the Prime Minister called the Viswasabanga proposal for the Parliament, and he has severe pressure from the Parliament members. He will throw from the Parliament in the Prime Minister position. And this is true. And even the US government and the Indian government, they worried about the Indian Ocean because the China taking over the Indian Ocean. So this is a great danger and great threat for America and as well for the India.
So they're trying. So this is reality could be the situation between the powers.
Yes.
So the Chinese, the Americans, the Indians, trying to influence what happens in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And then out of this, the Muslim population is being used as a scapegoat. To subhanallah. I mean, so will there be a deal? I mean, or will this continue on? I mean, it's already in the last 24 hours. The destruction is unbelievable. So what will happen in the next 24 hours? Anything?
Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. So we have no escape except believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seeking the solution from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, and this is the time Ummah has to unite. The understanding principle or core principle, the problem among the Muslim Ummah, Muslim nation are same. Whether it's Gotha or whether Myanmar or whether Chechnya, so all the problems are same.
So let me ask you this, I mean, you know, when we were talking about what was happening in Sri Lanka, you said, man, you know, you finally feel what's happening in Gotha.
Yes.
You know, I mean, because all of a sudden, the last 24, 48 hours, people are getting calls saying, hey, your family is in a situation, keep in touch with them, so-and-so, your uncle's business has been destroyed, so-and-so, so-and-so. And I remember talking to you, you said, man, all of a sudden, you know, I know what's happening in Syria or in Ghouta, but now it's personal, like I can feel what happens when you go through this. So, can you connect the situations between Ghouta and Sri Lanka?
Wallahi, the value of the Ummah's blood is same, whether you or me, there is no difference. So wallahi, we inflict upon this fear when it happens to us, it happens to our hearts, our families. But some people are not inflicted with this problem, but
they don't feel the problem.
Don't feel the problem. In near future they are going to be. But those who think with the wisdom and who apply the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to get the solutions.
So again, brothers and sisters, just an update on by Jazakallah khair, first of all, Brother Muhammad. And so this is just an update on what's happening right now in Sri Lanka. And the reason why we are doing this is to keep the Muslim Ummah aware of what's happening, you know, what has happened in Myanmar in the last year, you know, and then what's happening in Syria and what's happening in Sri Lanka, what may happen in other places. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for this ummah and unite this ummah, inshaAllah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.